you said, Kevin, then you said it's a generational shift, right? I'm saying that social media played a huge role. I want to find out what changed during the May elections, because last time there was no political blogging, etc., etc. The mainstream media also were a bit more biased. Now they've had to keep up. Do you think that social media played a significant role in terms of the voting patterns, and how do you see this dynamic developing for all the panelists? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So can I just get your name?
Nivarit.
Sorry?
Nivarit.
Nivarit?
Okay, Nivi for short.
Nivi, okay,
it's
great.
an obscure Indian name. So.
Yeah, okay. Prof Tan, maybe we'll start with Prof Tan on the impact that social media had, and maybe if we try to extrapolate it to see if that impact continues to play an important, the impact of social media continues to play an important role currently, 1 year after the elections, or has it just diminished after the elections?
I think first, let me clarify what I said just now. It's not that I'm saying that the social media didn't play a role at all. All I'm saying is that this student who did this particular empirical survey found that a large number of people had made up their minds beforehand. Now, of course, there are, 10 plus, almost 20%, who didn't yet make up their minds. And obviously, to them, the media would have played a role in determining who they would vote for. Now, in conventional wisdom, one would say that normally in a polity like Singapore, you will always have your hardcore 20-25% on either end. Okay? So in other words, you've got this 20-25% who will always vote the PAP, no matter what happens. You've got 20-25% who will always vote the opposition. I mean, I think you will find that even the PAP at the highest point in the best elections have never captured more than 75% overall in votes. So you've always got this sort of a protest vote. So your swing factor is really your 50% in the middle, right? And actually it's less than 50%, because all you need to do is swing 10% or 20% each way, and you would have caused the shift to occur already. How important is social media? I think social media plays an important role, but again, let me qualify this. Depends on what you mean by social media. Do you mean by political parties being out in the space there, capturing the imagination of the people through their websites, through their podcasts, and so on? Or are we talking about, as you pointed out, Channel News Asia or some of the other sort of, non-political sites putting information out there? Or are you just talking also about general citizen contributions and bloggers commenting, and Alex Au, for example, talking about elections, issues, and so on and so forth? Yeah, the whole gamut. I'm not sure. I don't do this empirical research, and I can't tell you the extent to which it would actually matter in voting, but it certainly does matter. And I think among the younger people, a lot of people will say that they get the information on the internet through their various tweets and so on and so forth. I mean, I have two examples at home. I have two daughters. One is 21, one's 18. Right? First thing that you wake up in the morning is I check the mobile phone. And I say, what's so interesting in a mobile phone every morning? And they're reading all the news tweets. Okay, so I'm out there picking up my Straits Times and, and they've already know all the key, because tweet only how many words, right? 140 characters at most, right? So they know all the news already. So I tell, hey, very interesting, yesterday train broke down. Of course lah, last night we know already. Hey, there's, flight. Oh yeah, we knew, So what does that tell you? It's a very different generation. They get their news differently. They react differently. Whether their values are the same, that is something to be determined, right? Are we still looking for the same thing? And I've always maintained that, one of the greatest successes of the PAP, and the PAP might not even realize this, one of its greatest successes is inculcating in us a particular psyche, a particular way of thinking about our political leaders. Which political party did the best, non-PAP party did the best in the last election? Workers' Party. Why did they do the best? My theory is very simple. They look exactly like the PAP. Only in blue. Right? You want, top scholars as your MP, they got Chen Shomao, capable of running. So what did you play up to? You play up to your political strengths, ability to run, practical experience, all these virtues. And the fact that Yeo Shin Leong was given the sack from the party recently is another thing that the PAP would have been expected to do. And so what has happened is that you've created a political culture. So Singaporeans, for better or worse, are beginning to look for political leaders, right, that look kind of like the PAP type of leaders. Kind of like, right? But then what's the difference? Then it boils down to personalities, whether the guy's arrogant, whether he came to visit me in the last 5 years, and all this other sort of stuff that comes in. It becomes a personality thing. Because one big problem in Singapore, politics, is that it is primarily non-ideological. The only ideology that kind of gets played out is this ideology of pragmatism, which is really not an ideology, right? It's utilitarian in that sense. So sorry, without
Prof.
Ideology, yeah.
Prof,
I'm going on.
Yeah. We want to come to political culture later.
Okay.
In the discussion, but if I may just stick on his question on social media.
Yes.
If I may turn to this side, Prof.
Please.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
I just want to ask, how do the parties view the continued effect of social media? And I'm asking this in the background of the action that has been taken against Temasek Review Emeritus, I think they call it now, and other social media. So what is the government looking at maybe blogs or alternative media, as they call themselves, or socio-political blogs, as they call themselves, in a very serious way, and what do they intend to do about it? The government first, and then maybe we can ask the opposition parties how they view these websites, which at first tended to be very pro-opposition parties, but now it seems that they're digging up a lot of things, as the Yeo Shin Leong, I don't know if I should call it an affair or saga, showed. Yeah.
I think the government recognizes that socio-political blogs and websites, they have a lot of very strong views that young people in particular go to find out more and to participate in. I think I must say that it is a force to be reckoned with, right? And it's something that you can't quite run away from. So the government is looking at it very seriously. That is why we are also stepping up on our new media approach, making sure that we also have, we're also able to take the space on the sociopolitical blogs and websites. I think most of the time when you read through sociopolitical blogs and websites, it seems to be quite anti-government, anti-establishment. So it's important for us to go in and put in our side of the story. I mean, what's it like, from the perspective of the government? I think it's definitely important. Young people, like what Prof. Kevin Tan mentioned, would definitely go to websites first. I mean, the information is really literally at your fingertips, with that netbook or nowadays your smartphone, right? It's all there. So it's something that the government recognizes is a very potent, a very important source of information, especially for the young. And it's an area that we are trying to reach out and go into to make sure that we also have our fair share of say in that arena.
So may I just add, are we likely to see more lawsuits, threatened lawsuits against these? Because is there a watch on these blogs to ensure that that they stay to more kosher views?
I can't say whether there'll be more lawsuits, but from what you have seen lately, even Prime Minister, the most recent article, right, the most recent posting about Madam Ho Ching, there wasn't a lawsuit that was filed. It was really just telling that you made a wrong allegation, you just offer an apology or retract it. I'm not sure, I can't say whether there'll be more lawsuits or less, but I think certainly the way that it's being approached is changing.
Cheng Chung, do you want to just comment on